I'm gonna do it again because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage because this new record that Kevin got, I got to have it back, Kevin.
I've talked to him. Eddie, what the you doing? Get on stage. I don't know, man. Maybe.
You can't deny it. Kevin Hart is one of the biggest names in comedy right now. But lately, his name's been making noise for all the wrong reasons. It feels like every other comedian, especially the black legends, got something to say about him. And it ain't looking too friendly. And when comedians go at each other, man, it cuts deep. One moment they're hyping you up, the next they're tearing you down with a single punchline. So yeah, Kevin's been looking a little tense lately. But why's a rich, successful dude like him sweating over a few jokes? Here's where it gets spicy. Eddie Murphy might be about to spill some tea too. Word on the street is Kevin's got skeletons in his closet, and we caught a peek when Katt Williams started airing him out earlier this year. Kevin tried to fire back, but you could tell he was shook. And now, with Eddie and maybe a few other OGs getting ready to speak up, Kevin could be facing some serious heat.
I don't know what records nobody broke, Kevin.
He ain't out of the danger zone yet. Let's break it down. See, Eddie Murphy, he's that smooth OG, always chill, never messy. So if he's stepping up to call Kevin out, you know something's up. And these two, they've worked together before, like in Meet Dave, and always showed each other love. But even their history ain't enough to keep Eddie from calling out the funny business. So what's the shade about? Well, folks been whispering for years that Kevin might have played the industry game a little too slick. Like maybe he cozied up to the big bosses, maybe even pushed some folks aside on his way up. And some of that talk? It ain't just about power plays, it's about stuff that's way more shady. Let's not forget.
I was actually one of those comedians that said, no, I wouldn't wear a dress. There's no way I would wear a dress. And then when proposed with the opportunity of what I felt was funny, I said, oh, that's funny, I'm gonna do it. It's all about choice. You know, nobody makes you do anything. Right. Nobody says, this is what you gotta do. This is the only way that you're gonna do it.
Eddie's been around since the 90s. He's seen it all. So if he knows something, best believe it ain't just gossip. And then there's what Katt Williams said on that Club Shay Shay podcast. He didn't hold back. Katt straight up called Kevin an industry plant. He broke down how Kevin blew up way too fast. Sitcom, major movie, Soul Plane, all in his first year in LA. Katt said, have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? That's not just a fast rise. That's suspicious. And people been raising eyebrows ever since. Nope. Nobody's ever heard of that before. Not back then, and not since. Katt Williams kept it real and said, what do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't even understand the meaning of the word. That statement alone shook the table. Now, if you don't know about the long-running tension between Katt Williams and Kevin Hart, here's the backstory that kicked it all off. Way back in 2008, there was this film, Fool's Gold. Katt was actually supposed to be the lead, but he ran into some legal trouble, so he had to let it go. The movie was being filmed all the way in Australia. And guess who swooped in to grab the role? Kevin Hart. Yep, that's when the drama really started cooking. Word is, that's where the beef between the two first lit up. And once Katt started talking, he really started talking. He wasn't just throwing shade, he was calling out the whole system. Katt sounded off about how it's messed up that certain folks who might not be keeping it 100 are out here getting all the power, all the spotlight, and all the perks, while the real ones are left in the dust. And just cause they got money and connections, doesn't mean they're telling the truth. According to Katt, it's dangerous to let these folks shape the story when they've got the resources to twist the truth however they want. But Katt's no fool. He knows speaking up can come with a price. He knows some people might write him off as bitter or jealous. When asked if he was scared of backlash, he dropped a line that left people speechless. Satan can't create anything that includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is? It's to act like it didn't happen. And this whole theory that Kevin Hart's an industry plant? It's not some brand new conspiracy. It's been floating around Hollywood for years. There's even this wild rumor that certain stars get pressured to wear dresses on screen almost like some twisted initiation before they can reach superstar status. And it ain't just Katt calling it out. Dave Chappelle said something about it too. So when multiple comedy legends are hinting at the same shady stuff, you know, people are gonna start asking questions. Back in 2006, Dave Chappelle dropped some serious truth bombs on Oprah. He talked about why he walked away from that jaw-dropping $50 million Comedy Central deal. And trust, it wasn't just about the cash. Dave made it clear, when the money's that big, there's always strings attached. He's been in the entertainment game since he was 14, so he's seen how the machine works behind the scenes. He mentioned how stars like Mariah Carey locked in a $100 million deal, then suddenly got labeled as crazy a few months later. Or how Martin Lawrence was riding high, then ended up in the street yelling with a gun, claiming someone was out to get him. According to Dave, it ain't a coincidence, he's seen this pattern before. When Oprah asked him about it, Dave didn't hold back. He said, it always seems to happen right when someone's career is about to blow up even bigger. That's when the pressure starts. He shared how producers wanted him to do sketches that made people laugh at him. Not with him. It felt like they were setting him up to be the punchline, all in exchange for a fat paycheck. And that wasn't even the wildest part. Dave recalled filming a movie with Martin Lawrence, and one day he walks into the trailer, and boom, there's a dress waiting for him. At first, he thought it was a mistake, but nope. They tell him it's for a scene where Martin's character breaks out of jail by dressing Dave up like a woman. Dave was like, nah, I'm not doing that. It wasn't even something they talked about. Out of nowhere, they tried to push it on him like it was just some hilarious gag. Writers, directors, producers, all of them kept pressuring him. But Dave stood firm. He told them flat out, he doesn't need a dress to be funny. Then suddenly, they whip up a whole new scene, just like that. Dave was left sitting there like, wait, how did y'all write that so fast? That's when it really hit him. It wasn't about the comedy, it was about control. Dave said he didn't have a problem with wearing a dress itself, but what he did have a problem with was how the industry kept trying to corner black comedians into doing whatever it takes to stay relevant or get to the next level. That moment, it opened Dave's eyes in a big way. It was that moment, being told to wear a dress, that made Dave Chappelle really start connecting the dots. And once he saw it, he couldn't unsee it. This wasn't just his battle. A whole lineup of black men in Hollywood had faced the same exact push. Just look at the track record. Martin Lawrence did it in Big Mama's House. Eddie Murphy played multiple characters in Dresses for the Nutty Professor. And Jamie Foxx had folks talking with that wild Wanda character on In Living Color. Even the Wayans brothers stepped into heels for white chicks. And let's not forget that flop of a film, Joanna Man. But the real heavyweight in this dress-wearing lane? Tyler Perry with his unstoppable Medea empire. It was a whole wave. Now during that same time, a rising Kevin Hart was speaking up, dropping so-called wisdom on branding and self-respect. He was preaching about knowing your limits, setting boundaries, and not selling out just for laughs. When asked if he'd ever wear a dress for a role, Kevin was confident with it. Nope, that wasn't his vibe. He told folks, you gotta know where you draw the line. Protect your image, protect the brand. He even bragged about turning down a silly talk show bit where they asked him to dribble a basketball, claiming it would make him look foolish. Kevin made it sound like he was built different, but then boom! Just a year later, Kevin's on Saturday Night Live in a dress, playing a 9-year-old Oscar-nominated girl in a comedy skit. And the internet exploded. Fans weren't buying the act. They felt betrayed. People started calling him out left and right. Wasn't you just telling everyone else not to do exactly this? That twist had fans heated. Kevin went from standing on business to flipping the script like it was nothing. He once said, "No way I'm putting on a dress." But now, Suddenly it was funny to him. Now it was cool? Now it was okay? And when the backlash hit, Kevin jumped into defense mode. He tried to downplay the situation, saying, "Nobody forced Martin Lawrence into Big Mama's house," or "Nobody made Tyler Perry be Medea," or "Jamie Foxx chose to play Wanda." So Kevin hit us with the classic line, "It was a choice." That's his go-to defense now. He's pushing that whole "I chose to do it" angle. But the streets ain't buying it. Not completely. Because people are pointing out something real. Kevin wasn't okay with it until the money started talking. Before the checks came in, he had a whole speech about boundaries, integrity, and protecting the brand. But when the bag showed up, suddenly the game changed. Like money became this magic wand that made him forget everything he once stood on. And let's be honest, when those dollars start stacking up, a lot of folks start showing their real selves. Need proof? Just look at what Steve Harvey once said. "Give me $10 million and I'll embarrass myself all the way to the bank." That was his quote. No shame in it. He straight up said he'd trade in his integrity for the right price. It was raw, but it was real. Now back to Kevin. After he rocked that dress, his career went sky high. The man became the highest paid comedian in the game, pulling in more money than anyone else. People started calling that moment the golden ticket. Some say he gave up his integrity, but if success is the goal, Kevin cashed in and never looked back. And yeah, he's laughing all the way to the bank. But just when folks thought it couldn't get more complicated, boom! Here comes Monique, dropping some serious heat on Kevin. Word is, Kevin ghosted her when she was getting dragged by Hollywood giants like Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. She was catching fire from every angle, and Kevin, quiet. And here's where things really start raising eyebrows. Kevin, who used to stand beside Monique like family, started getting real chummy with both Oprah and Tyler Perry, the very people Monique was calling out. Was it genuine, or was he just playing chess to climb that Hollywood ladder? Let's rewind to 2021. Kevin brought Monique on his Comedy Gold Mines podcast. It was a deep episode. They talked about her rise, her struggles, her career highs and lows. If you didn't already know, Monique has long-standing beef with Oprah and Perry, and trust me, we'll dive into that drama later. During the convo, Monique opened up about how bad things got. She said her family was basically up against the wall. And Kevin, he stepped up, at least at first. He told her she was like family to him. Said she was a mother, aunt, sister all in one. And it wasn't just talk, he made moves. Kevin admitted he didn't really know Oprah personally, but promised he'd reach out to Tyler Perry. And he did. After they talked it out, Kevin came back to Monique with what sounded like good news. Perry was ready to squash the beef and move forward. But was it real peace? Or just another Hollywood performance? Kevin Hart was out here playing the voice of reason, telling Monique it was time to drop the drama and focus on the future. "Let's leave all that negativity in the rearview mirror, Mo," he told her. "We got bigger things to accomplish." It sounded like a fresh start, but that wasn't all. Kevin wasn't just offering pep talks. In a convo with Shannon Sharp, Monique spilled the tea. Kevin wasn't just there emotionally, he came through professionally too. He told her he'd partner up on any project she wanted. He even offered to executive produce it himself. According to Monique, Kevin said, "Mo, I talked to Tyler. He doesn't want to revisit the past, but forget that. Let's move forward. Whatever you want to do, I'll back it. Just let me know." And it wasn't just words. Kevin reached into his own pockets. Yes, he loaned her a big chunk of money. And Monique? She kept it solid. Paid him back with interest. Now that's real. But here's where it starts getting messy. Kevin had promised to help her reboot her talk show. Monique was hyped. Having Kevin Hart's name behind a project? That's automatic power moves. She told her production team at Endemol, and they were thrilled. Like, this could take the show to the next level. Then out of nowhere, boom! 2 weeks later, Endemol hits her with bad news. Kevin's manager, Dave Becky, called them up to say Kevin had cold feet. Just like that, everything got iced. Monique was confused, so she calls Kevin, hoping for some real explanation. But all she got was a weak brush off. "We'll talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it." And that was it. Fast forward 2 whole years. Still nothing. Crickets. Kevin never followed up, never came through. Fans started putting the pieces together, and some of them were calling it what it looked like. Fake love. People started asking, did Kevin ever really plan to help her? And the receipts? They start piling up. Folks remembered how Kevin once claimed he didn't really know Oprah Winfrey like that. But come on, how you gonna say that when she sent you flowers after your accident? Yep, back in 2019, during a sit-down with Ellen DeGeneres, Kevin talked about his car crash and back surgery. Ellen mentioned how she reached out, and Kevin said tons of people did too, but the flowers Oprah sent, those stood out. Kevin Hart once joked that Oprah's flowers turned his whole house into a full-on botanical jungle. He said they were still alive, years later, thriving like they had a secret life of their own. It even became a running joke in his home. Kevin laughed that someone must be sneaking in to water them because despite being totally ignored, the flowers refused to die. They became so big they literally took over the dining table. No lie. Kevin said the family had to eat on the floor just so they wouldn't disturb Oprah's blessed bouquet. But here's the twist. After all that, Kevin turned around and claimed he doesn't really know her. That's got people raising eyebrows. Something ain't adding up. And then, there's the whispers. Wild rumors have been spinning like crazy. Some folks are saying Kevin might have sold out, symbolically handing his soul over to the Hollywood power circle, including Oprah and Tyler Perry. Word is, helping Monique could have risked everything he built with them. So, did he stay quiet to protect his own seat at the table? Now let's run it back to the real root of Monique's beef with Oprah and Tyler. This all goes back to 2009, when she starred in Precious, a film produced by Oprah and Perry and directed by Lee Daniels. The tension blew up when they allegedly expected Monique to fly around promoting the movie without being paid. Monique wasn't here for that. She got just $50,000 for the entire movie, and that barely scratched the surface. So when they hit her up like, "Hey, we need you on the press tour," she hit them back with a firm, "Nah." That wasn't in her contract, period. They tried to butter her up, offering fancy hotel upgrades and all that, but Monique and her husband weren't moved. She told them flat out, "I'm doing a talk show. I'm doing a comedy tour. I've got a husband. I've got kids. I finally have a break, and I'm not giving that up. I did my part already." She said they agreed to disagree. But next thing she knew, Hollywood had branded her as difficult and hard to work with. Then came the third call. They asked, "What's it gonna take to get Monique to France?" Her husband answered with the question, "Is there a number attached to that?" That's when they hit back cold, saying they never pay for anyone to do promotion. Boom. Monique repeated that she only got $50,000 for Precious, and to her, it was never about the cash. She signed on to do it as a favor to a friend. Monique kept it real. I think that's what America says. We all say, "I can't do it for free." She broke it down plain and simple. When the studio refused to cover her Cannes appearance, she didn't blow up. She just said no. But then, boom, the headlines flipped the script, labeling her as difficult and demanding. All over a boundary they already knew she had. And just like that, the drama snowballed. But while Monique was battling Hollywood labels, Kevin Hart was facing his own firestorm. The streets started buzzing with rumors that he cheated on his ex-wife, Torrey Hart, with his now-wife, Eniku. Things blew up back in 2011 when Torrey dropped the divorce bomb, and it wasn't just over one slip-up. Word is, Kevin was out here running wild with multiple women. And yeah, Eniku might have been in that lineup before she had the ring. Torrey later opened up saying she once believed they were gonna be a power couple, but all that came crashing down. The pain? It wasn't just from the cheating, it was seeing Kevin everywhere. On billboards, in movies, on red carpets, while she had to pick up the pieces. And get this, Torre wasn't just a wife. She was grinding behind the scenes, writing jokes for his stand-up and helping with his movie scripts. But Kevin never gave her credit, not once. Worst part? Rumor has it he was using her material to build his empire, then spending that money on side chicks. Then came the ultimate disrespect. Kevin started cracking jokes on stage about his cheating. Imagine being the one who helped him rise up from nothing, only to become the punchline. That had people heated. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, here comes the twist. Torre Hart is now going on tour with none other than Katt Williams. Yep, the same Katt who's been gunning for Kevin for years. Kevin and Katt can't stand each other, so Torre teaming up with Katt? That's got folks talking loud. She even hit Instagram with a pic of her and Katt calling him a good friend. But this ain't just some casual gig. She's joining his Dark Matter tour. And in that same post, she dropped a clip from Katt's viral Club Shay Shay interview, the one where he torched Kevin and others. Then, when Kevin was asked about it in a recent interview, he tried to stay cool. He gave the whole mature response. But you could see it all over his face. He was tight about it. Nah, yeah, Kevin might act like he's brushing it off, but these scandals, they're sticking. The fans are watching, and their views are shifting. If you're still here, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, drop a comment, subscribe for more wild tea, and turn on notifications so you never miss a drop. Catch you in the next one.